Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more. There's a lot of different things that's happened over the past couple of days, so let's get into it and talk about it. First off, I wanted to talk about Eddie Hearn in this recent interview where he's actually talking positively about Misfits. There's certain interviews that I see from this guy, and obviously he's from the professional world, but still, like, sometimes it's like he makes Misfits seem like it's not all that and that it's a comedy show, and like he never says it's ruining the boxing scene, like the professional boxing scene, but in some of his interviews that's how it comes across to me, like that's what he wants to say. So it's like I just don't understand, because isn't it Misfits does well for the zone, like, so that's why I don't understand why sometimes he seems to talk negatively about it. Like he said in one of his interviews that he didn't like it, like he said he didn't like Misfits.
Look, I think if I start preaching, people just moan at me anyway. But you always ask me my opinion. My opinion is I hate it. I hate it. We've worked so hard for women in boxing to be respected for their ability, for their merits, for their hard work. One thing we must understand is that ain't boxing. And that needs to be pushed. All that stuff, Misfits, Kingpins, it needs to be booted so far away from professional boxing. And we really need to, disassociate ourselves with what it is.
Next week, with the influence of boxing. It is, I just want to know, what fight are you most looking forward to? And will you be watching it on your couch at home? Or are you going to turn up?
I think I might go. I mean, my kids want to go, right? And I've got one weekend off. It's actually my daughter's birthday next week. So I'm like, I just mentioned it to her, like, just wanted to get the reaction. And it was like, what? What, we can go to that fight? I'm like, oh my God. So I might be bullied into it. But I've got to say, for me, that world is not a world that I can almost operate in with a clean heart. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I can do what I want and what makes me happy. If this was 5 years ago, certainly 10 years ago, I would have been all over this fight like a rat up a drain pipe, right? But it doesn't mean that I can't admire it, respect it and understand it. And I think what Mams Taylor and Callis Allen have done, and DAZN with Misfits, has been revolutionary. And I think although it is YouTube boxing, it's competitive, and I like the way they're structuring their cards. I mean, if you actually look at that show next week, like KSI against Tommy Fury, whatever way you want to look at it, it's an intriguing fight. Dillion Dennis against Logan Paul, if this fight happens, I mean, yeah, but the build-up has been unbelievable. And even Slim against Salt Pappy, right? I mean, who can forget that one? But it's just a really good card. So, and the numbers, listen, don't forget, I work for DAZN. So anything that benefits DAZN, they could knock in 1 million subscribers next week, which is great for us, it's great for boxing. Now, people say, oh, they won't watch boxing. Well, that's DAZN's job from there, to interact with those subscribers, to make them watch boxing, right? So I think it's good all round. We just got to remember, you got boxing and you got Misfits or YouTube boxing. Totally different, totally separate thing. But that card is at least a little bit closer to boxing. The tag team stuff and the girls, and like, this feels a little bit more like a real night of boxing. And I'll definitely be tuned in.
So it's nice to see him in this interview actually talking well about Misfits, and he knows that this is going to do well and it's going to be on DAZN, so this is going to give them a lot of money. So it's nice to see the respect being shown, and he should go 100%. Take your kids. SI was getting one of his little massages that he usually does, and he was talking about how, because a lot of people say that what they're doing with this Prime card is not smart, because they're making the biggest fights that they could possibly make all at once. So what are they going to do for future events? But to me, and to what KSI is saying in response to that, is that, like, even though these are all the biggest fights they could possibly make, it's going to make new storylines and new, even bigger fights. There's people on this card who could one day headline their own huge event. Like, I think they're doing it right. I think they need to make the biggest card they can possibly make.
Yeah, because we can always still stack other cards, man. If I fight again, we can always have a stack card.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even if I'm not fighting, we can still have a stack card. Like, let's say we wanted to fight in Brazil.
Yeah.
we can get some good fights there. Or if we wanted to fight in, I don't know, another random country, we can always just build up big fights. You know, like depending on who wins certain fights with the prime card, that can set up new fights.
Yeah.
So there's always
all of them are like proper main events, isn't it?
Yeah, people are saying like
every
this
fight's
is
a main.
it, like this is the end of influencer boxing after this fight. It's like, no, it isn't. I beat Tommy. People are still gonna want to see me fight, I don't know, Conor McGregor or Jake Paul or, you know, whatever.
Make. Like, when are we gonna get JJ, KSI, Dylan Dennis, Tommy Fury in a card again? Like, they need to put all the biggest possible Misfits fights on this card to build the Misfits fighters, so that they hopefully gain a lot of supporters and fans, so that they can headline their own event and not be on the undercard on a big event. Like, it's gonna do more positive than negative. Like, I get what people are saying, that it could end a lot of storylines and like all the biggest fights happening at once, what's going to happen in the future, but it will create new big fights. That's the purpose of the card. Saw this on Twitter on IFN's account, and apparently they are planning to make the Tommy Fury versus KSI fight be streamed in cinemas. And I was like, that's actually a good idea. I saw some negativity about it, that people be like, oh, you would have to be quiet, but I feel like this is different from watching a movie, and I think the crowd that are going to go is going to be different from watching a movie. Like, yes, maybe certain people would want you to be quiet, but I feel like it will be like a pub type of vibe, like when you're watching a football in a pub. It will be like that, but watching boxing in a cinema. I think that's actually a really good idea, especially if certain people can't afford to get the pay-per-view. I think it would be cheaper in the cinemas to watch it there, especially, and they're doing it in America as well. It's actually been confirmed that they're streaming the fight in cinemas or movie theaters in America. So that's good, because the Americans have to pay like $80 to watch this fight. I even seen some people paying $100 to watch this fight. Obviously, that's very expensive. So if there's a cheaper option to watch it in the cinema, yes, you'll be with other people, not in the comfort of your own home. But I think that's fun. I also saw this on IFN's Twitter, that these are like all the prices of the pay-per-views for each country. So obviously the UK is £20, which is what I kind of expected. I would have paid 60, but £20 is great. And then for the US, it's like way more. I never understood why Americans streaming fights is way more than the UK. Like, I never understood it, and I still don't understand why they have to pay more. Logan Paul is being interviewed by his brother on his BS with Jake Paul podcast, and they were talking about Dylan Dennis, of course, and Logan was explaining the whole legal situation.
Welcome back to BS with Jake Paul.
Let's go.
Subscribe,
Let's
like,
go.
comment. Here comes all the juiciness. But I have, I think he's forced to fight now, interestingly enough, because he committed a federal crime, which was what's it called? Disinseminating?
The word is disseminating.
Disseminating?
But you don't got to get into the details, and there's more counts coming.
So it's
Yeah,
like
what's
game over, checkmate is what I think the lawyers would be saying.
Yesterday on Instagram, you posted that there's an unreleased clip from your face-to-face where he incriminates himself. Are you allowed to discuss? I don't know if you put that out.
He posted
I
it.
posted it today. Yeah. No, it's just in the face-to-face, I gave him a little light deposition where he incriminated himself, but he's a dumbass, so he didn't know what I was doing, and he doesn't know that what he did is wrong. Like, I also think people are confused about what the lawsuit is. I think a lot of people think it's about like the photos he's been posting, the photos that are online. It's not. It's about a serious crime he committed. And to be honest, I don't know if I want to or even can or should dive in that much, because I don't want to undermine the justice system. Like, it speaks for itself, and I don't want this to appear to be like fight promotion.
Yeah,
Does
I
that
don't
make
think
sense?
it is.
It's-
I think the
it's-
fight's already promoted.
The lawsuit has nothing to do with me, bro.
Yeah.
This is Nina's thing. This is her decision. I support her 100%. I love.
And Dylan responded, because someone put it on Twitter. He responded and was making it seem like he was going to pull out the fight. And I can't lie, he got me. Like, I don't trust this Dylan guy. I don't trust him at all. When he was saying all this, oh, I'm out. Like, I believed him. because I don't trust this guy. I need to see him in the ring and with Logan. I need to see him in the ring with Logan. That is when I believe that he's going to turn up. The fight is a week away, less than a week away. And I still don't know if this guy is going to turn up. Like, I don't trust him. I just don't. I saw this video on Twitter when he was being interviewed on the Full Send podcast, where he was basically saying that 7 weeks before the Tommy Fury fight, he was out clubbing and drinking. I don't think I've ever heard Jake Paul saying this. I watched a lot of his interviews. Maybe I've forgotten. I do remember him saying that he got sick. That's the excuse that he was using. But I don't know if I ever heard him saying that he was out partying and clubbing. Leon actually responded to this video and said that Jake Paul's excuses are coming out because he's sensing that JJ is going to win. And I can't lie. Me personally, I don't know if JJ is going to win. But if he wins, like, that's bad for Jake Paul. Like, I don't think people are talking about that enough. Like, if JJ beats Tommy Fury, the guy that Jake Paul couldn't beat, like, that's terrible for Jake. So naturally, excuses are going to come out because he has to save his back. Because if JJ wins, everyone's going to be running to Jake Paul and they're not going to take him seriously with his boxing career, and that's what he wants. So of course, he is going to hope and pray to whoever he prays to that JJ loses. Speaking of JJ, JJ went off on Tommy Fury because of his sparring partner. He said this a couple days ago. And I want you to know that the hell doesn't stop after the fight is over. You will be reminded over and over again for the rest of your life that you lost to a YouTuber that's worse than Jake Paul. I'm not here to box you. I'm here to fight you. I'm prepared to die for this. You will see. Let's see how much you really want this. I don't mean to laugh, by the way. It's just that I find things that JJ says funny. And then this is what he said in response to his sparring partner, because he's got, his rating is pretty low. Owen Kirk is his name. His rating is pretty low and he has 3 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws. I mean, it's not a terrible record, but it's not the best. This is what JJ said. How effing dare you? You're not taking me seriously at all. You effing piece of ish. I'm preparing myself for the ultimate challenge, and this is what you're sparring with. A middleweight with ish movement and weak A punches at Tommy Fury. That's a bit harsh. Like, his record is not the best, but it's not that bad. There's a comment that I saw underneath Tommy Fury's recent YouTube video, because he posted a video about the day in the life of a boxer. And I saw a comment that I actually fully agree with. I do think that they think that Tommy is not taking them seriously when he actually is. Like, in my opinion, especially watching this YouTube video, but not only that, like watching his Insta stories, like he is training hard. He is taking KSI seriously. Like, he's even said that in interviews. Even his dad has said stuff like, people like KSI, the way that they fight are more dangerous than professional boxers because the way they fight is not the norm, or it's not usual. So it can be harder, it can be dangerous, because he knows that KSI could knock him out. Like, that is a potential. It's not going to be an easy fight. Like, I do think that Tommy has more of a shot to win, but JJ could knock him out. He 100% could. So I don't think Tommy's actually taking him lightly or taking him for idiot, basically. I don't think he is. Like, Tommy seems like he's training very hard, especially if you watch that YouTube video. And I know it's just a YouTube video, it's not the full camp. But that little boy is training. He is. And with JJ going off on Tommy Fury because of his sparring footage, or his sparring partner, thinking that because his record is low, that Tommy's not taking him seriously. Like, to me, yes, that sparring partner probably wasn't the best, but he does seem to be taking JJ seriously. Like, this guy is training hard. So I hope that JJ isn't looking at that and thinking that he's not training as hard as he is, because I think he's going to come more prepared than he did for Jake Paul. Obviously, JJ's going to be JJ and come for him. But anyways, guys, that's all the stuff that I've seen happening on social media in the past couple of days. Put in the comments what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.